Hip Hop Nation, Hip Hop Nation, Hip Hop Nation, what's good? It's your boy Robb D in the place to be, aka Robb DIggie, BKA at the rare Robb DIggie on IG, talking about episode 13 in the new Millennium. This is still Diggy A2, the Progression of Hip Hop podcast. Happy holidays. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Lots of things to be thankful for, and going into the holiday season, everybody's ready for Christmas, putting up Christmas trees and Christmas decorations and all that good stuff, and all that stuff was great. Glad to have the holiday season come aboard with us, but now we are coming down to the end of the new millennium. We're getting close to the end, that is. And this week we're going to be talking about this guy behind me, Lil Tunechi, Weezy F Baby, otherwise known as Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., and we all know him as Lil Wayne. So when I think about Lil Wayne, man, lots of things come to mind, lots of great memories come to mind, and lots of what I would say one of the hottest, if not the hottest, hip-hop stars we've ever seen. I would call him a hip-hop rock star is what I would call him. But I got some accolades to talk about. As you all can tell, I'm riding the ship solo today. My guest couldn't make it on today, but shout out to everybody's ever been a guest on this show. You know, sometimes schedules conflict, things happen. I get it. I can ride the ship solo. It's all good. Y'all can rock with me. All of my listeners and followers and watchers have been riding with me for, going on 2 years now. So I appreciate y'all. But we're going to ride the ship solo. And I'm going to still deliver to you the best content possible about this guy behind me. So without further ado, let's get into the facts, ladies and gentlemen. Man, do I have a laundry list. So what I found fascinating about doing studies on Lil Wayne was he has 74 awards in total, 1 American Music Award, 11 BET Awards, 15-time BET Hip Hop Award, 4-time Billboard Award winner, 8-time BMI Award, 5 Grammys, 2 VMAs, 4 Soul Train Awards. He has 74 in total, as I mentioned. Of course, I'm not going to read them all off. In 2007, MTV named him the #1 hottest MC in the game, rightfully so at the time when Lil Wayne was sizzling. And also, what was significant about Lil Wayne, he has 20 mixtapes in total. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And he was also given a BET Hip Hop Award for I Am Hip Hop in 2018 for Lifetime Achievement. So he has that in his trophy case. But the albums I'm going to focus on for today's discussion is all the albums he dropped in the 2000s. Now, his studio albums, I'm talking about his studio solo albums, not the mixtapes, not the collaborations, just the studio solo albums. Lights Out released in December 2000, which sold about 900,000 K. Get Off the Corner, everything was a couple of joints off there. Then he paid homage back to Juvenile's 400 Degrees. He took up a notch higher, went 500 Degrees in July 2002. Gold album, I didn't write anything down. It really wasn't one of my favorite albums, not gonna lie to y'all. I couldn't find any joints that I could resonate with. And then what Lil Wayne does is, I think what he did at that point was reinvent himself. And when he reinvented himself, he released the Carter 1, 2, and 3. So the Carter, actually mostly produced by Manny Fresh, 2 times platinum, released in June of 2004. Go DJ, BMG, JR, Earthquake with the Al Green sample was dope. I mean, that was to me, that was the beginning of what we know to be a Lil Wayne to be right now. And then he dropped what I think, which is rare in hip hop, three gems in a row, you guys. 3 gems in a row. The Carter 2 times platinum, released in December 2005. The Mob, Fly In, Free, Fireman, Mo Fire, which was a reggae vibe on there. Best Rapper Alive, Oh No, Grown Up, which was an R&B vibe. Shooter, featuring Robin Thicke. That was to me the reemergence of Lil Wayne on the Carter 2. Then a couple of years later, he dropped the Carter 3 in June of 2008, and that is when Lil Wayne just set the world on fire with the Carter 3. Mr. Carter featuring Jay-Z, when Jay-Z typically passes the torch to Lil Wayne. At that point, if y'all go back and listen to that verse, Jay-Z's talking about, hey, I made my money here, you go ahead and get yours, I'm going to throw you the alley-oop. A Millie Got Money featuring T-Pain, Mrs. Officer, Lollipop, and all the hits. The whole album is a run. And then what I will also say on top of that is the Carter 4. Now, the Carter 4 is outside of my scope. That was released in, I think, May of 2011. But the Carter 4, shout out to my daughter Sylvia, who used to play that all the time, every single day. So, yeah, but Carter 4 is another classic Lil Wayne album, and that's when I talk about the trifecta in his series of albums. Was it Carter 2, 3, and 4? But the Carter 4 is outside our scope, ladies and gentlemen, so I can't go into that little, at the focus's attention on this one. But what I am going to talk about is 3 points. And the 3 points that I'm going to make on this episode is, one, the progression of Lil Wayne as an MC. Now, when he first came out, he was really young. He was with Cash Money and the Hot Boys and, doing his thing. But he was the youngest out of the crew. So he was like pretty much like a baby, learning the hip hop game, learning things, how money is dealt, learning the business side of things. He's watching, observing. Then he drops a couple of albums in the early 2000s. But then I just feel like when it came to him as an MC, he decided to, I think when he left Manny Fresh, so if you go back and listen to the track listing of the Carter, all those tracks are produced by Manny Fresh. When he went and did the Carter 2, that's when he started to experiment with some other producers and try to figure out his sound, and he really nailed it on top of the head with the Carter 2. So that, to me, was a growth of Lil Wayne. Just him as an MC growing, using wordplay, being witty. You can see the growth in his hip-hop knowledge. I mean, he's just a phenomenal talent. And he was always one of those guys that wasn't very arrogant. He kept in tune with his people. But during this time in the 2000s, you guys remember, back in 2005, we had Hurricane Katrina come through New Orleans, and and it was just really tough for everybody going through that area at the time. And they looked to Lil Wayne as a savior, and he took the torch and was like, I'm putting New Orleans on my back, hip hop wise, and did that and delivered some masterpieces in the middle 2000s. So Lil Wayne as an MC and the progression of his life as an MC is great. We've all seen him grow in front of our eyes, and I think it's great to have him on here and talk about Lil Wayne. A lot of people love Lil Wayne. A lot of people resonate with Lil Wayne. Just his persona, just the way that he is. He's just like not really like a character, but he's just like one of those cats where like everybody just loves him. You know what I mean? Like he can do no wrong in eyes, but he's had some trouble with the law and things like that. So the second point that I'm going to make on this episode is how he was able to reinvent himself. So I talked about that a little earlier on the reinvention of Lil Wayne, and when he did that, he did a lot of freestyling. So he didn't do a lot of writing during this time. So when he transitioned, I want to say was from 500 Degrees to the Carter, he stopped writing things down and started freestyling. So which is great, which is a great art. It's a hard art to do. I mean, I could never do it myself, but when you listen to some of his early albums, you could tell that he's just going in there, feeling the vibe of the music, and just freestyling right off the top of the head. And that's a really hard art to do for full-length albums, to do that, to have that capacity to do that, to have the presence of mind to be a freestyler. And I think it's incredible. I think it's kind of one of the hard things to do. He may be one of the very few in hip hop that's able to do that during that time. So with that being his freestyle ability, being able to pivot and talk about whatever you wanted to on the spot, I mean, this is genius, especially when you get to the Carter 3. When you get to the Carter 4, of course, that's when he mastered it by the time he got to the Carter 4. But Carter 3, with the Millie and just talking about things, I don't write shit because I ain't got time. He's just going off the top of the dome. I think that's really clever, really witty on his part. And it definitely started to separate him from the rest of the pack of the other MCs in his class. And they're definitely in this season. That's why he's so far down in the season, because Lil Wayne is not one to be reckoned with in the 2000s, you guys. You go back and listen to all the albums that he had, all the mixtapes that he had. I mean, he had a slew of mixtapes. I mean, he dropped mixtapes left, right, here, and there. One of my favorite mixtape series was the Dedication series, where he would take somebody else's beat. Shout out to DJ Drama as well, who was helping Lil Wayne with those mixtapes back then. But he would take somebody else's beat, he'd rap over it, They give a little spin, a different perspective on it, and that was my favorite mixtape series. So you guys give me your thoughts on what you think Lil Wayne's, what your favorite mixtape was. I know there's a couple of them out there. I'm the best rapper alive was another series out there, but mine is just the dedication. The dedication series is dope. I think there was like 6 or 7. I don't even know how many there was, but so that's my favorite. But he's definitely what I would say during that time in hip hop, the mixtape king. And of course, he come in second place with total mixtapes created. We'll talk about number 1 next season if we get to it. But yeah, I mean, we talk about Lil Wayne, man. Like, he's done a lot of stuff for hip hop, lots of collaborations, just being able to, and he really wasn't really much of a movie star. So some of the guys that we have featured this season, like T.I., 50 Cent, some folks making movie appearances and TV appearances, you don't really see Lil Wayne doing any of that. I know his daughter was on the reality TV shows. He made a couple appearances on there. Growing Up Hip Hop, he was on there for a couple times, but he kind of stayed out of the limelight, and I think that's by reason. And, when it comes to Weezy, he did a lot of drugs. The drugs, rock and roll lifestyle. You see him in the background behind me. He's tatted up. He looks like a rock star, and he had a couple of near-death experiences throughout his life. So I'm so glad to still have him with us. He did some bids in jail as well too. Having run-ins with the law. But what I would say about Lil Wayne, you guys, is he is just definitely one of the maybe on, if not the first thing you chiseled in on the Mount Rushmore for Southern hip hop, possibly. You get any other different route that you want to. There's so many influential MCs from the South, but Lil Wayne definitely put a stamp on Louisiana and New Orleans, to be exact. No one ever thought someone from New Orleans would be able to articulate and be able to rhyme and have the beat selection and have all the things coming up with him as he was rising as a star. And he still is a star. I mean, I could talk about him in the 20 teens as well. I mean, he made some very significant music in the 20 teens, even that. So there's just much more to come for Lil Wayne. We hope that he continues to do the series. I heard there's some rumors about the Carter 6, so I'm looking forward to that, man. And like I said, I hope he does go back to the mixtape game. There's some more dedications for us, but Lil Wayne, man, like I like running out of superlatives to talk about this guy, man. You know what I mean? Like, he's dope, man. Lil Wayne is fire, and then what I would my last notes I would say, if I were to actually sit down in front of Wayne and talk to him, I would tell him thank you. Thank you for what his contributions are to hip hop. That's why he got the Iron Hip Hop Award in 2018 for his contributions for lifetime achievement. Well done, well put together. I mean, well deserving is what I would say. We don't do enough of that now. We don't celebrate our great ones when they're still with us until it's too late. You know what I mean? So I think that was great for BET to do that. Give that man his Life Achievement Award on the spot while he's still with us, you know what I mean, to cherish his music, to cherish his legacy. And it's just great to have him come on and come through hip hop from a whole different perspective and just using wordplay and being witty. And the story is still being written. He's not done yet. So my hats off. Salute to Lil Wayne. Salute to young Tunechi and his contributions to hip hop, you guys. So I'm gonna start wrapping things up a little bit on the earlier side. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them for me on IG. Check me out. On the Triple HU page for the Hip Hop Heads Unite. If anybody's got any extra comments, I want to drop some words in for me. But I'm gonna start wrapping things up, and how I'm gonna wrap things up. But we've been paying homage all season to the life and memory of Breonna Taylor. So I'm not gonna do the chant today because I'll be doing the chant up here by myself. So I'm just gonna do a short moment of silence for Breonna Taylor, her life and memory, and to all the others that we have lost due to social injustice. So let me give a quick 5-second moment of silence. Amen. Amen. Breonna Taylor, we miss you, mama. We love you. Keep watching over us and to all the others that we have lost to the social injustice. And my shout outs this week, you guys, actually is kind of short. I want to give a shout out to family. I want to give a shout out to all of our fans, followers, and supporters, my kids, my wife, oh man, like my grandbabies, all the other people that have been on this platform with me over the last couple of seasons. Like, it's been great. You know, the Curse of Virginia, Chuck Platinum. If you see this, Chuck, you still my homeboy, my brother in rhyme, OG Check the Don, all of the other guests that we've had. Tracy Lee, the legendary Tracy Lee's been on here as well too. So I just want to give a quick shout out to all the guests that we had throughout the season. And we're gonna start wrapping things up, you guys. You all have a great rest of your week. Next week, we're going to the Windy City of Chicago and talking about the old Kanye West, one of my favorite MCs of all time. We'll talk about him next week, you guys. So you guys be safe, be humble, stay hip hop. All right, 100. Peace.